Out of all the places we looked at today, do you have a favorite? I keep going back to that first venue. It just had the right vibe, you know? That whole setup, the layout, the lighting, everything. It just felt like the place where we should be saying our vows.
I completely agree. That first place really had something special. It was elegant but not too stuffy, and I could actually picture us there, exchanging vows in front of everyone. And that garden area would make for amazing photos, don't you think?
Yes, exactly. I think it just has the right atmosphere. Should we go ahead and book it then? I mean, we don't want to lose it to someone else, especially with all the wedding season bookings going on right now.
Absolutely. Let's lock it down. It's exciting just thinking about it. Wow, Nathan. I can't believe we're actually booking a wedding venue. This is really happening. We're getting married.
I know, right? It feels surreal, like we're actually planning our wedding. Our wedding! Somehow, I think it's only starting to hit me now that this is really happening. We're gonna be husband and wife.
Right? It's all becoming so real. Honestly, even when you proposed, it was like this incredible, beautiful moment. But it still felt like a dream. Almost like it wasn't actually happening to us.
I felt that way too. I mean, I went through this whole proposal, of course, but afterwards, there was still this part of me that didn't really believe it was real. Like, am I really doing this? But now that we're actually picking out venues and talking about all these details, yeah, it's starting to sink in.
So, speaking of all these wedding details, when am I finally going to get the chance to meet your mom? I mean, it just feels a little strange that we're planning this huge day, but I haven't even met her yet. Don't you think she might wonder what's going on, or worse, think I'm avoiding her? I mean, she's going to be my mother-in-law, after all.
My mom, yeah, about that.
I mean, come on, Nathan! We're organizing this big day together, and at this rate, she's going to think I'm some mystery woman or that we're hiding something. And actually, it just hit me. You never talk about your family. Ever. Now that I think about it, I can't remember a single story you've shared about your mom or your brother.
Do you think it's something that I have to bring up? I mean, it's not like it's a requirement to talk about my family, right?
Well, no, but you never mention them at all. Like, I don't even know what kind of relationship you have with them. And that's kind of unusual, don't you think? Especially since they're about to become part of my family, too.
Look, Claire, there's something I should tell you about them. My family isn't really like everyone else's.
Oh? What do you mean by that? Are you saying I'm not going to get along with them?
No, it's not that. It's more, well, it's complicated. My family isn't exactly the kind to contribute financially, you know? So for things like helping us with wedding costs or chipping in when we eventually get a house, that's probably not going to happen. I just didn't want you to get any expectations about that.
Oh, that? Nathan, come on. Is that why you haven't introduced me to them yet? Because they can't pitch in for the wedding? You don't have to worry about that with me. We talked about handling everything on our own, remember? Besides, you're doing just fine on your own. You've got a great job, you're working hard. You don't need to feel awkward about it.
Yeah, but it's not just about money. My family, well, we're not as close as other families might be. It's a little hard to explain.
I understand. But Nathan, who has a perfect family, right? No one's family is exactly normal. If we all held out for that, nobody would be able to marry anyone. Everyone's family has its quirks. Honestly, I'm sure I can handle it.
Thanks, Claire. That means a lot. I wasn't sure if you would understand, but it sounds like you do. And as for my mom, let's take it just one step at a time. We can wait a little longer before you meet her, if that's okay.
Are you sure? I just don't want her to get the wrong idea about me, thinking I'm not interested in meeting her or something.
Trust me, she won't. My mom, she's always been a bit distant with me, actually. She's Well, she's not exactly the warm and fuzzy type. In fact, she's not really fond of me at all.
What? Nathan, what are you talking about? Did something happen between you two? I mean, do you guys have some kind of history?
No, it's not one specific thing, really. It's just, the way that she is. I'll explain more when the time's right. For now, I think it's enough for us to be planning our wedding together. But don't worry, I'll make sure she knows how much you're looking forward to meeting her, and I'll do my best to set things up so it's as easy as possible when you do meet her.
Okay, as long as you're sure. I just want to be on the same page, you know? And if you could, just let her know that I'm genuinely excited to get to know her. I want her to see how important she is to you. And to me.
I'll do that, and I'll go ahead and take care of the deposit for the venue. We don't want to miss out on that date.
You must be Nathan's mom, Joanne? That's right. I see you managed to find my place just fine. Well, go ahead and sit down. We might as well get started. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. It's really nice to finally meet you, Joanne. Honestly, I should have reached out sooner to introduce myself, but I thought... I don't know. I just thought Nathan might have already let you know everything. Well, for someone planning to marry my son, you've sure taken your time getting here, haven't you? Here we are, practically at the wedding planning stage, and this is the first time I'm meeting you. I can't say it leaves the best impression. I'm so sorry. I assumed Nathan would arrange for us to meet when he thought it was best. I didn't mean to keep you waiting or anything. So you're saying Nathan's to blame for why you haven't visited? Oh, no, not at all. That's not what I meant. I was just trying to be respectful and go along with what Nathan suggested. I thought it was all planned out. Please, don't start making excuses. Regardless of what Nathan might have told you, anyone with common sense would know to come by and introduce themselves. Don't you have any intent to make an effort with your future family? You're absolutely right, Joanne. I really didn't think of it that way, and I apologize if it came off as rude. I certainly didn't mean to seem thoughtless or to keep you waiting. I'm not interested in apologies. I expect better, that's all. And now I hear you're planning a wedding that's skipping all the proper formalities. Just straight to the vows with none of the traditional preparations. Well, Nathan and I talked it over, and since we both agreed not to rely on family contributions, we thought it made sense to keep things simple. We decided together not to worry about traditional gifts, jewelry, or any elaborate customs. It felt like the best choice for us. And who told you that parents need to hand out their money just because you're getting married? I raised Nathan. That's more than enough. But that doesn't mean you can just throw away tradition because it's convenient for you. I'm sorry if it came across that way, Joanne. Nathan and I thought it'd be more practical, especially since we're handling things ourselves. We didn't mean any disrespect. Practical? It's not about what's practical. It's about honoring the customs that matter. No family gifts, no jewelry, none of the things we traditionally provide for marriage. That's not something you can just brush off. Well, Nathan and I discussed it at length, and we both agreed. Nathan! That boy wouldn't know the first thing about traditions, let alone respecting them. And as a woman, you should have put your foot down. Don't you know it's your role to make sure things are done the right way? Excuse me? I don't think I deserve to be spoken to like this. We haven't done anything wrong. Well, if you think I'm being too harsh, think again. I'm only telling you this because I care about the family's honor. When it comes to family traditions, they matter to me, and I won't just let them slide because Nathan doesn't care. I expect a full dowry, proper gifts, the works. And that means everything should be in place for the wedding, down to the smallest detail. Understood? Dowry? But we already agreed not to do any of that, Joanne. Nathan and I want to handle things our own way without putting any pressure on either family. We thought that would be the best way forward for us. Nathan doesn't know anything, all right? I've known that about him since he was young. He has never shown any respect for traditions or what it means to uphold a family. I always suspected he would find someone just like him. Someone who doesn't value these things. I'm sorry, but that's completely uncalled for. Nathan's your son, and he's a wonderful person. You don't need to speak so harshly about him, especially in front of me. Listen, Claire. I expect everything to be done the way it should be. That means all the arrangements for gifts, dowry, family exchanges, the whole thing. And if you're not willing to meet those expectations, then I don't see why I should support this marriage at all.
So, Claire, what do you feel like eating? They say that the ribeye here is amazing. Should we go for that?
Nathan.
Did you decide on something else from the menu?
No, it's not the menu.
Oh, you've got that look like there's something on your mind. What is going on? Is something bothering you?
Well, I didn't know how to bring this up, but I actually met your mom 2 days ago.
Wait, what? You met my mom? How? When?
Yeah, she called me while I was at work and asked if we could meet up for a bit. It sounded important, so I agreed.
Okay, and? She didn't say anything, out of line, did she?
Well, she did have a few things to say. She told me she expects me to take care of all the wedding traditions, gifts, dowries, and everything. And she said if I don't, then she won't support our marriage.
What? She actually said that?
Yeah. She was very direct about it, too. She was clear that if we don't do things her way, there won't be any blessing from her side.
Claire, please, don't let what my mom says to you get to you. I'll take care of it, all right? You don't need to stress over it. Just ignore her demands.
But Nathan, that's not all. Can I ask you something? Have you and your mom been fighting? From how she reacted, and honestly, even from how you've seemed a bit distant whenever she comes up, I feel like there's something more going on between you two. I don't mean to pry, but I couldn't help but notice.
Claire, I was planning on telling you about this eventually, just maybe after the wedding. But since you're asking, I guess now is as good as a time as any.
I understand. Just know that I'm here for you, no matter what. I can handle it, whatever it is. Just tell me what's going on.
You know I have an older brother, right? I think I mentioned this before.
Yeah, you've told me a little. Just that he's your older brother. Nothing too detailed.
Well, in my family, he's not just my older brother. He's the only child that really matters. Ever since I was young, it was like I didn't even exist. To my mom, there's really only ever been one son, and that's him.
What? Are you saying she doesn't consider you her son?
Not in any real way, no. To my mom, I was the child that never should have been. A burden, if anything. My brother is her pride and joy. I was just there, barely acknowledged.
Nathan, that's awful. You're her son too. How could she treat you like you don't matter? That's just unthinkable.
I know, but that's just how it is. It's always been that way. So I learned to rely on myself. I worked my way through school, supported myself, made it on my own. Everything I have, I earned without her help.
Nathan, I had no idea. I'm so sorry you had to go through that alone.
It's not something I like to talk about, and honestly, I didn't know how to bring it up. I wanted to tell you before we got married, but I kept holding back, thinking it wouldn't matter. I was just afraid it might change the way that you look at me.
Don't apologize, Nathan. None of this is your fault. You don't have to feel sorry for a single thing.
I feel bad because my family's like this. I know it's not what anyone expects, but you deserve better. Claire, if this is too much, if you'd rather walk away right now, I'll completely understand. I don't want you to feel trapped in something messy.
Walk away? Nathan, what are you even talking about? I'm marrying you, not your family. You're the one I fell in love with, not them. I don't care if things are complicated. I'm with you for you.
I know, but we're not a typical family, Claire. You might not see it now, but I worry that the differences are gonna affect you, and I just don't want you to go through that.
Look, if dealing with your mom means letting her words roll off my back and focusing on us, then that's what I'll do. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to let anyone else control how I feel about our relationship. Not even her.
You're really sure about that? I just don't want you to end up feeling this way because you think you have to.
Nathan, I thought it through. And I'm in this with you. I don't care about the baggage or the family drama. I'm ready for it because I know that at the end of the day, we're in this together.
Oh, thank you, Claire. I can't tell you how much that means to me. If my family gets to be too much, I'll do my best to shield you from it. I don't want their issues to affect us more than they already have.
And I trust you. I know you'll handle it, and I'll be here to support you, no matter what.
So, I heard from Claire that you reached out to her recently.
That's all you have to say. You come home for the first time in ages, and you don't bring anything. No small gift, not even a gesture. Don't you think that's a bit rude? You show up empty-handed as if it's no big deal. Really, Nathan, where's your sense of respect?
I didn't come here to discuss gifts or play polite. I came because I want to know why you felt the need to contact Claire out of the blue.
Out of the blue? Nathan, get real. I'm your mother, and that makes me Claire's future mother-in-law. Is it so strange for a mother-in-law to reach out to her future daughter-in-law? I think that's perfectly natural. Don't you? If anyone's being strange, it's you. Acting like I'm not supposed to have any connection with her.
I'd really prefer if you didn't contact her at all. Claire's under enough stress as it is, and I don't need you adding more to her plate.
Are you serious right now? Nathan, I'm your mother. I am the one who raised you, and you're acting as if I'm some outsider. Since when does a mother need permission to speak to her own son's fiancé? What, am I supposed to just sit back and say nothing? Let my son get married without any input?
Mother, that is a strong word for what we have, don't you think?
What? The attitude you have! If I'm not your mother, then whose child are you? The neighbor's? Who else gave birth to you, raised you, and took care of you?
You know what I mean. You've never really treated me like your son. To you, I've always been second place. You've only ever really cared about Lucas. I was just there.
Oh, stop that nonsense. This again. Look, it's only natural for a mother to care about her eldest son. Why are you so sensitive about it? Honestly, you've got such a narrow mind, just like your father. We raised you, we fed you, we sent you to school. Isn't that enough? Or do you need constant attention?
Just because you gave birth to me doesn't mean you were really a parent to me. Parenting takes more than that.
Where did this attitude come from? Talking back to your mother. Have you no respect? Just watch your tone. Anyway, while you're here, I have a task for you. You know Lucas has been putting in all those hours studying, right? You might as well do something useful for him while you're here. Buy him a good meal, maybe some steak. He deserves it.
I'm sorry, what? You're actually serious?
Yes, I'm very serious. Lucas has been working so hard for those civil service exams. He's dedicating all his time to studying, and the least you can do is support him with a nice meal. Go and treat him. Be a good younger brother for once.
And why exactly should that responsibility fall on me?
Because, Nathan, you have a steady job now, don't you? You're making money. Lucas is still studying, and it's hard work. It's only right for a family to help each other out, and that means you can contribute a little.
I am too busy for this. Anyway, I didn't come here for family drama. I'm here to make one thing clear. Leave Claire out of it. Don't call her, don't text her, just stop contacting her altogether.
And what if I refuse? What if I don't see any reason to stop?
Excuse me?
Go ahead and ask around. Ask anyone in this town if it's strange for a mother-in-law to contact her future daughter-in-law. You'll find that no one else would think it's odd. In fact, they think it's odd if I didn't.
I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm telling you now, and I mean it. There's nothing coming to you from my marriage, financially or otherwise. And that means you have no reason to involve Claire in any of this. Just leave her alone.
Look at you. Look at the disrespect you're showing your own mother. Unbelievable. Claire, where have you been wandering off to? We get here and there's no one home to greet us. Do you know how rude that is? I'm so sorry, Joanne. I just ran out for a quick errand down the street. I didn't think you'd arrive so early. I would have been here if I'd known.
Claire, come on. That's a bit careless, don't you think? We even called and let you know that we'd be coming over today. Mom and I made sure to tell you the exact time and everything. We didn't just drop in out of the blue after all.
You're right. I apologize. It was just something that needed to be done quickly, and I thought I could be back in time. It was more urgent than I expected, and I lost track. Lucas, save your breath. With someone like her, it's not worth wasting your time. Claire clearly doesn't understand the basic manners one should have in a family. I mean, what can you expect?
Yeah, you're right, Mom. I guess we shouldn't be surprised.
Well, setting that aside, where's Nathan? Is he around? Or is he off on another one of his mysterious work trips? He's actually out of town for work again. It's been a really busy time for him, and he won't be back until tomorrow night. These days, he's traveling so much it's hard to keep up. Honestly, what kind of job has someone constantly on the road like this? It seems ridiculous. Almost every time I ask about him, he's on another trip. What is he doing with his life? Does he even want to be home?
Right? And he made such a big deal about getting this amazing job that he couldn't stop bragging about it. Turns out, all it does is keep him away from home. It's not exactly what he made it out to be, now is it?
Well, it's a reputable position, and yes, he travels quite a bit. Sometimes even internationally. Last week, he was on a project in Europe. It's a big opportunity for him.
Oh, Europe. So what? Just because a job sends you across the ocean doesn't make it any better. If anything, it sounds exhausting, dragging yourself all over the world for work. Not much of a dream job, is it? Right, Mom?
Absolutely. Lucas is absolutely right about that. I mean, how great could it really be if he's barely ever around? It seems like all he's done is give himself a job that tires him out and keeps him away from his own family. What's the point of that? Anyway, what brings you here today? You two don't usually drop by like this. Excuse me? What did you just say? The way you talk. It's almost like you're annoyed that we're here. Or as if I need some kind of excuse to come to my own son's home.
Oh, and by the way, Claire, why don't you treat us to a steak dinner while we're here? I'm feeling like a good meal.
A steak dinner? I wasn't really planning on going out tonight. Are you sure that's necessary? Yes, Lucas is right. Really, how can you be so thoughtless, Claire? Did it not even cross your mind that Lucas has a big test coming up? You haven't offered to do anything to show a bit of support or encouragement. A big test? I thought, didn't you already take the civil service exam, Lucas? Is this for something else?
Yeah, that didn't go as planned, so that's over. But this time, it's a little different. I'm actually studying for my driver's license test.
Wait, your driver's license? That's what you're preparing for?
Yeah, I figure it's about time to get a real job, don't you think? But apparently having a driver's license is a must. I didn't realize it was such a big deal until now.
Getting a driver's license these days isn't as simple as it used to be, Claire. It's a real challenge. This test is very important, and he could use some encouragement. Don't make light of it. I see. So the big, important test you're studying for is your driver's license. Well, I guess that is something.
Exactly. And since it's such a big milestone, I think the least you can do is treat us to some good steak. I mean, Nathan's always talking about how well he's doing, right? So I'm sure covering dinner isn't too much to ask.
That's right. Better to go now while Nathan's out of town. Otherwise, he'll start in with his lectures like he always does, going on and on about responsibility and watching what you spend on. You know how he can be. I understand. But why don't we just wait until he's back tomorrow? That way we can all go out and enjoy a nice meal together. Were you even listening to what I said? I said let's go while Nathan's not here. He doesn't need to be involved in this. Do you understand now? We'll be waiting for you at that fine dining steakhouse just down the street. The one with the nice wine list. You can take your time, but don't keep us waiting too long. Come along, Lucas.
Sure thing, Mom. We'll see you there later, Claire. Don't be late. Wait, what? So you actually bought them the steak?
What was I supposed to do? They were insistent, and it seemed easier to just go along with it and get it over with.
Unbelievable.
Really, it's fine. Don't stress over it too much, okay? It's not worth it.
It's just that I feel like you had to deal with them all alone, without me there to handle things. I hate that you were put in that position.
It's not as bad as you think. Besides, I got to eat steak too, so it wasn't all that miserable.
Still.
Oh, by the way, Lucas mentioned he didn't pass the civil service exam. Apparently, he's trying to get ready to find a job now.
Figures, that guy never follows through on anything. I'm not surprised one bit.
I just hope your mom doesn't start asking for money again, like last time. Remember how she kept insisting they needed help while he was studying for the exam?
Don't worry about it. If they ask, we'll just say no. Simple as that.
It's just... they only ever bring it up when you're away. Whenever they need something, it's me they come to.
Look, don't let it get to you. I'll make sure to handle things so they don't put that pressure on you. You've dealt with enough as it is.
Really?
I mean it. I told you when we got married that I'd make sure that my family didn't become a source of stress for you. If they try to reach out to you again for anything, just let me know, okay?
Okay. I trust you. Oh, you're here again. What brings you by today? Could you maybe work on how you greet us? I mean, isn't it obvious we're here because we have something to discuss? We wouldn't be here otherwise. Right. Well, go ahead. What did you want to talk about?
Claire, we were wondering if you could lend us a little money.
Excuse me? Money? Yes, that's what he said. Lucas is getting ready to find a job, and we need some funds to help him along. There are expenses involved, you know. But what kind of expenses could there be for just looking for a job?
Claire, you wouldn't understand because you haven't been through it, but preparing to enter the workforce takes money. There are classes, materials, it all adds up.
I've never heard of such a thing before. It's the way things are. If we're saying it's a need, it's a need. I don't see why you're questioning us. I'm sorry, but we really don't have any money to spare.
Oh, come on, don't be like that. You don't mean that. I'm sure you can manage to help us out a little.
I mean it. We really don't have any extra money right now. Oh, really? You're telling me you live in this nice house, but you don't have anything to spare? That's a little hard to believe, Claire. I'm serious. There's nothing available to lend out, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Wow, really, Claire? You're being way too harsh. We're not asking you to give it to us, we're just asking for a loan. We'd pay you back when we can. It's not like we're demanding it as a gift.
And I'm telling you, we simply don't have anything to lend out right now. You're welcome to search the place if you think I'm hiding stacks of cash somewhere. This is ridiculous.
I mean, look at this. Nathan's always bragging about doing well at work, making good living, yet here you are telling us you can't even help out your own family? It's pretty disappointing.
Even if Nathan wanted to help, we still don't have the extra funds to lend out. So again, I'm going to have to ask you to head back home. Claire, this isn't right. You can't treat family like this. We're supposed to look out for each other. And I'm telling you, I'm not refusing out of spite. We just don't have the money to lend right now. What do you want me to do, pull it out of thin air? When and if we have extra, we'll consider it. But for now, I need you both to leave.
Well, I'd never thought you'd be so cold about this.
Standing here arguing with me isn't going to make money magically appear. Well, I suppose not. Then please just head home.
Claire, I've been thinking about something, and I think it's time for us to consider it seriously. Let's move. Let's just pack everything up and go somewhere new.
Move? Are you serious? You mean just leave everything here and go?
Yeah, I'm serious. With my mom constantly showing up here, it's just too much to deal with. She's been dropping by so often, and I know that every time that she does, it's wearing you down. I can't stand the thought of you going through that, especially when I'm not here to help.
But if we move, where would we even go? I mean, it's not easy to find a new place, and the whole process takes time. Do we really have options?
Actually, we do. You remember that place where you used to live? It's still available, and the lease is ending soon, right? We could move there. It's a lot more private, and it's in a much quieter neighborhood than this place.
Oh yeah, the lease is up at the end of the month, so it would technically be available. But are you sure about this? It's such a big decision.
I'm positive. I think it'll be the best thing for us. Once that lease ends, let's just pack up and go. I mean, it's a nice spot, and I know that you felt more comfortable there. Plus, with the baby coming, it would give us a lot more peace and quiet.
Honestly, that sounds perfect. I loved that place, and the area is ideal. It's definitely better than here, especially with a little one on the way. There's more room, and it's much more relaxing. Not to mention it's a much safer area.
Exactly. Here, we're just too close to my mom, and that's becoming a problem. If she keeps showing up whenever she wants, it's only gonna get harder for you. I know this move is sudden, but it's worth it if it gives you peace.
So, are we just going to go without telling her? Won't that cause issues later?
I think it's best just to keep it quiet. If we tell her, she'll only find ways to follow us, and then we're back to square one. If we keep the location private, we might actually get a fresh start.
You're probably right. She's already asked for more money for Lucas, by the way. Apparently, he's got some new expenses.
Seriously? She doesn't stop, does she?
Don't worry. I already told her no. Firmly. I didn't give her any room to argue.
Good job. It's about time she stopped expecting us to bail her out. So, moving it is. Look, I know it's sudden, but I think it's the best thing that we can do right now.
Hey, where are you? You better explain yourself right now. Oh, hi, Joanne. I'm at home right now, actually. Why? Really? That's interesting, because I'm standing right outside what used to be your house, and guess what? You're nowhere to be found. You moved out, didn't you? And didn't even bother to tell me. Oh, yes, we did. I'm sorry. I thought I mentioned it. We moved to a different place recently. What? You just moved and didn't think to inform me? Did you really think that was okay? Don't you think I had a right to know where you'd be? It must have slipped my mind, honestly. I didn't mean to keep you out of the loop. Slipped your mind? Really? What kind of daughter-in-law just up and leaves without even informing her own family? What kind of behavior is that? I'm not sure what you mean. This is exactly why I never felt particularly fond of Nathan. I mean, Lucas would never pull something like this. He respects family enough to keep them informed. Now, let's just cut to the chase. Give me the address of the new place you moved to. You want our address? Yes, Claire, I want the address of your new home. Now. Is that clear? I'll get it to you later. Right now, I'm actually tied up with something and can't give it to you immediately. Tied up? Really? This is not something you get to later. I want that address right now, not when it's convenient for you. Are you really ignoring me? I apologize, Joanne, but I truly can't talk at this moment. I'll make sure to get it to you some other time. I'm really busy, but we'll catch up soon. Goodbye, Joanne. So you two think you can just up and move without even telling me? You think you can pull that off, just going behind my back?
How did you even find out where we moved to? Did you go through some kind of investigation to track us down?
You're surprised? There are ways to find out everything, Nathan. You'd be amazed what a determined mother can discover when she puts her mind to it. You went so far as to hire a private investigator? Really, Joanne? Is this what it's come to? That's right, I did. And I'm not the least bit ashamed of it. My son and his wife think they can move without informing me. Well, I had to take matters into my own hands.
This is getting ridiculous. I'm asking you nicely. Please, go home. Claire and I have things to do, and we were just about to head out.
Head out? Well, your own mother is here. Where on earth do you think you're going, leaving me standing here?
I'll say it again. Go home. This isn't the time or place.
And who are you to talk to me like that? Raising your voice at your own mother. How disrespectful can you be? Joanne, look, you've already found out where we live, and we're clearly not going anywhere now. But please, we really do need to get going, so if you wouldn't mind... Just cancel your plans! Whatever you had in mind, it can wait. This is more important. And speaking of things that can't wait, why haven't you sent any money to Lucas yet? You've apparently got enough to move into a nicer place, yet you can't even help out your family. Excuse me? What money are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Why haven't you sent any money to Lucas? My oldest son deserves support, especially when you're spending money on things like moving to a new home. Joanne, I don't remember ever agreeing to send any money to Lucas.
And what am I, a personal ATM? Just expected to send money whenever you say so?
The way you talk is truly astounding. After everything Lucas has done for this family, and you've selfishly taken everything meant for him. All his luck, his success. That was supposed to be his. If you had any ounce of guilt, you'd be sending him some support. But instead, you hoard it all.
What are you even talking about?
Joanne, that's not only unfair, it's downright offensive. Nathan hasn't taken anything from Lucas. Nathan is your son too, and he's worked hard for everything he has. Am I wrong then? Nathan, ever since you were born, it's like you've sucked the life out of Lucas's potential. He's never been able to flourish because you were there, pulling everything down. He's in the state he's in because of you.
I am done with this conversation. There's no point in trying to reason here. Claire, let's go. We're leaving.
Right behind you. Hey! Where do you think you're going? You don't get to just walk away from me! Get back here! You're here again. What is it this time? I was just thinking, since you've moved into a new home, it's only proper to host a housewarming. Isn't that what's usually done?
I'm pretty sure I made myself clear about not wanting visitors. We didn't move here to entertain you.
Housewarming parties are hardly entertaining. It's just the polite thing to do. Some food, some drinks. Simple enough, isn't it? Nothing too elaborate. Lucas, what do you feel like eating?
I've been craving beef Wellington. I saw it on TV and it just looked so good. Claire, you think you could manage that?
There you have it. Beef Wellington should do nicely. Claire, go and get started on that, would you? Really?
Oh, and by the way, we'll be staying the night. I assume that's the guest room over there. Just be sure to get it ready for us. Are you out of your mind? You're not staying here. Get out right now. Look at the way that he talks to his brother. Where's your respect? You act like you weren't raised with any decency. You are no brother of mine. A real brother wouldn't act the way that you do.
And this is exactly why I've never considered you my son. This attitude, this disrespect. I'm done putting up with it. But don't worry about us overstaying, all right? We came prepared. I even brought blankets and pillows just in case. Joanne, please, watch your words. This is our home, and we have a right to some respect here. I don't care about your so-called home. We're staying, and we're not leaving until you agree to help Lucas. This is family, after all, and we'll be here until we're taken care of properly. You're saying you'll refuse to leave unless we hand over money?
Pretty much. If you want us gone so badly, just lend us the cash. Simple, right? Give us what we're asking for, and we'll be out of here in no time.
Nathan, you need to start acting like part of this family. For once, just do the right thing.
Unbelievable.
What was that? Did you just call me unbelievable?
No, you're hearing just fine. You're unbelievable. You don't get to come in here and act like this and expect me to bow to your demands. Watch your mouth, Nathan. You don't want to push this too far. Oh, please, coming from you? Look at you, Lucas. 38 years old, jobless, still leeching off mom's support, and you're lecturing me? Grow up.
That's because you've drained him of his good fortune. He could have done well for himself if you hadn't come along and taken everything that should have been his.
Let me guess. Mommy's perfect son can't possibly be responsible for his own choices, right? So you'll just keep blaming everyone else, even if it is absurd.
What did you just say?
You think you can just barge in here and take over? Think again. Get out, both of you, or I'll make sure you're gone. This is our home, and we are done with this nonsense. Honey, help me. Let's show them the way out.
What are you doing? Are you crazy?
You want to stay here? Fine, then it'll cost you. You pay us $1,000 each if you want to spend the night here, and I'll make sure that the bed is ready. Otherwise, get out. I don't see either of you as family, and I won't be forced into this any longer.
Joanne and Lucas were finally thrown out, and Nathan completely cut ties with them. He blocked them on every platform, refusing any contact. Each time Joanne attempted to show up unannounced, Nathan was there to call the police, making it impossible for her to come near without serious hesitation. As time went on, word got around that Lucas still hadn't managed to secure a job and was continuing to live off Joanne's dwindling resources. It's hard to fathom how a mother could treat her children so differently, creating a divide that ultimately pushed one son away entirely. I still can't understand how someone could favor one child while turning a cold shoulder to the other. That's it for today's story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. See you next time!